In a small-town school nestled by rolling hills, there was a young boy named Maher. Maher was smart. Oh, he could solve math problems in the blink of an eye and had a knack for storytelling that always impressed his teachers. But Maher had another, less admirable talent. He loved to make fun of his classmates. He'd call out strange names, poke fun at their habits, and laugh at them when they stumbled in class. To Maher, it was all a game, a way to get a few laughs. What he didn't see, or perhaps didn't care to notice, was the hurt that flashed across their faces, the way some kids would go quiet for the rest of the day, too ashamed to speak. One morning, a new student joined the class. His name was Salim. He shuffled into the room with his books tightly clutched to his chest. He wore oversized glasses that slipped down his nose and spoke so softly the teacher had to lean in just to catch his words. Maher chuckled the moment he saw him. "Well, look at this genius!" he said loud enough for everyone to hear. He tapped an imaginary pair of glasses on his face. "What's that? A library on your face?" A few students giggled nervously, but Salim's face turned crimson. He lowered his gaze to the ground, clutching his books even tighter. He didn't say a word. For the rest of the day, Maher laughed and joked as usual. To him, it was just another harmless tease. He went home that night, had dinner, and drifted off to sleep without a second thought. But that night, Maher had the strangest dream. He found himself in a long, shadowy corridor lined with tall mirrors. At first, he was curious. He walked up to the first mirror, expecting to see his reflection staring back at him. But instead, he saw the face of a girl from his class, Fatima, tears streaming down her cheeks. Startled, Maher jumped back. He went to another mirror. This time, it was Kareem, the boy whose nickname was Slowpoke because he struggled to keep up with classwork. Kareem wasn't smiling like Maher expected. He was crying, his head buried in his hands. Maher's chest tightened, but before he could step away, the mirrors began to whisper. Words can be daggers, or wings. Choose wisely. The words echoed around him, bouncing off the mirrors, filling his ears. Daggers or wings! Daggers or wings! Maher woke up with a gasp, sitting upright in his bed. His heart pounded, the whispers still buzzing faintly in his mind. And for the first time, he thought about his words. Really thought about them. Tears, shame, sadness. Could his jokes have caused all that? The next morning, Maher walked to school with a weight in his chest. In class, his eyes darted to Salim, who was sitting alone. Salim was bent over his notebook, writing something carefully, his glasses slightly crooked. Maher felt a pang of guilt. For the first time, he wondered what Salim might have felt yesterday. As soon as the bell rang for recess, Maher walked over to Salim's desk. His classmates watched curiously. Maher didn't usually approach people unless it was for another joke. But this time his voice was quiet, his tone serious. Salim looked up at him, blinking nervously. Maher hesitated for a moment, then took a deep breath. I wanted to say I'm sorry. I shouldn't have made fun of you yesterday. It was mean, and I didn't mean to hurt you. Can we be friends? Salim tilted his head, clearly surprised. For a moment, neither boy said a word. Then slowly, Salim's lips curled into a shy smile. Of course we can be friends, came his soft reply. Maher grinned, feeling a weight lift off his chest. For the rest of the day, he made an effort to include Salim in conversations, introducing him to other classmates and making sure he felt welcome. Something remarkable happened over the next few weeks. As Maher began to encourage his classmates instead of teasing them, they responded in kind. Fatima started participating more in class, her stammer slowly fading. Kareem's confidence grew, and he began raising his hand to ask questions without fear of being ridiculed. And Salim? Salim turned out to be one of the most brilliant students in the class. His ideas during group projects left everyone amazed. Maher had learned a powerful lesson. Words could hurt or heal. They could tear someone down, or they could lift them up. From that day on, he chose to spread kindness. Making people laugh was great, but making them smile with a kind word, that felt even better. And perhaps the most beautiful part of it all was seeing the way kindness created a ripple, lifting not just one person, but an entire community. After all, Maher realized words don't cost a thing, but their impact can be priceless.